to the chopper. That's the best one I got. What's up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Movie Night here on Pop Culture Philosophers, the penultimate episode of ActionFest 2023. And we're talking about the most requested movie for us to talk about on ActionFest ever. Predator, 1987's Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, Eric Duke, so many other freaking people in this movie. Shane Black's in this movie, y'all. So excited to talk about this movie, something that you have wanted us to talk about, and now something that we're finally delivering. So we got a great panel to talk about this great movie tonight for this great thing we do here on the great PCP Movie Night on the great channel of Pop Culture Philosophers called ActionFest. Predator, 1987. But, like I said, a great panel, including Jelani, you son of a bitch. What is up, my man?
Hey. You are one ugly motherfucker. Go.
Heck yeah. Let's bring in the next panelist and let's hope that he sticks around. It's Brooks. What is up, my man?
And watching this movie will make you a sexual tyrannosaur, just like me.
It sure will. Speaking of sexual tyrannosaurs, it's Brian. What is up, my man? Oh, it's just a floating head. Are you in Predator camo?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's what I was going for. I'm just blending in, man. It's like I've
covered
covered myself in mud.
Brian, by the way, was initially going to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he complained about that wallpaper or that wall color and the t-shirt. So
yeah,
said it was too hot. So yeah. Speaking of too hot to handle, too cold to hold, it's the one and the only Joe Corallo. What is up, my man?
Not much. Let us all get to that chopper.
Let all of us ugly motherfuckers get to that chopper. Please stick around. No chance. It's all right. That one's from Commando. We did that last year on ActionFest. All right. Predator, 1987, directed by the man John McTiernan, right? That's his name? McTiernan? How do you say his name? What's it? Yeah.
McTiernan.
He did Die Hard, Last Action Hero. Didn't he do Thomas Crown Affair, I think before he went to jail? He went to jail or something because he had like a bomb.
Sure
I don't even know. Yeah, something like that. We can dive into that if we want to. Arnold Schwarzenegger, though, obviously the major star here, but Carl Weathers turns in the best performance. Let's be honest, right? He's the best actor in this film. I don't know. Jesse Ventura does exactly what Jesse Ventura is supposed to do. I'm excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
This was the best experience I ever had watching this movie. I watched it alone. I wasn't even super drunk. I was probably super high. But I just had so much fun with it this time. I've seen this movie before plenty of times. I watched it back when I was a kid. I loved it. And as I grew up, I was like, this movie's not as great as maybe we remember it or something like that. But I will take all of that back. I loved the experience of watching this movie, especially this time. All of the bits, all of the one-liners, really a well-done, well-crafted movie at what it's trying to do, blending sci-fi, horror, action all together with the star power of Arnold Schwarzenegger and some of the others. I loved this movie on the rewatch. And I think one of the things that always hindered me from really fully accepting how awesome this movie was how unawesome I thought that the franchise kind of went. But that being said, I haven't seen Predators or The Predator, but now I'm geared up to watch them. And I don't think I ever need to watch those AVP movies. You know what I'm saying? But I loved this movie. I really think it does a great job of building up suspense, being funny. I think the punch-ups in the script by Shane Black, who, by the way, they were like, hey, Shane Black, Lethal Weapon's a huge hit. We want you to come in and do some touch-ups on the script. He's like, no, I'm not really wanting to do that. He's like, well, do you want to be in the movie? So he's like, sure. So they fly him down to Mexico to have him be in the movie. And then they're like, oh, by the way, can you rewrite this scene for us real quick? Oh, how about this one? So he kind of got goaded into it. But I really like this movie. I think it's brilliant performances all the way through. Great special effects for its time. It's got a great running time. It's got a great sense of pace to it. I love the music. Alan Silvestri, right? Like, come on, y'all. This is a classic action film. And the reason why you out there wanted this to be talked about more than any other movie. So let's get into it. Jelani, what do you think about Predator overall?
This movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. The first time I ever saw it was like on HBO, because I never saw it in the theater, of course. And I was like, I will never go to the jungle. There's no reason for me to go to the jungle for any reason. But then I realized something. Station, I realized that, you just don't have to have a gun. Don't have a gun. Walk around like a normal person, and you'll be fine. That's what I learned from this movie as a child. And I've watched this movie like probably I don't know 20, 30 times probably in my lifetime. This is an amazing film. I absolutely love Arnold in this movie. The cast by itself is fantastic. The music's great. It's shot beautifully. This is one of those movies where like it's a good popcorn action flick. This is truly action. It's sci-fi and it's action, and it's just one of those things. Like seeing a guy get skinned alive, and you see these men skinned alive. That still scared me as a kid because I was like, I'm gonna get skinned up, but I don't have any guns, so I'm fine. So it's all good. It's a great film. The special effects are amazing in this. Very practical. I love the suit, the way the suit is. The guy that plays it, yep, that's Stan Winston. The guy that plays that character, he died of HIV like a lot of years ago. But he was the way I remember him. He was married to one of the characters in 227, like in real life. I can't remember her name right now, but like he was always on that show, like
Kevin Peter Hall played the Predator. Is that who you're talking about?
Right, Kevin Peter Hall. Yeah, he played the Predator, and he was just always so just tall and menacing the way he looked already, but then wearing that outfit and like grabbing Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger is like off the ground with him. It's insane how tall that man is, and he's scary and imposing. He reminds me of, I guess, the other Predator movie, Prey. He's that imposing. I don't know who the guy is that played in Prey, but they kind of have the same stature. But great movie. I absolutely love it. Just one of those things that from my childhood that like stuck with me for so many years.
Yeah, it really does hold up. Like you said, it's a good blending of the sci-fi, the horror. There's a horror aspect of it, Mm-hmm. It's a monster in the jungle after these dudes. It's a cool concept, right? And it also has something to say. I remember when I was a kid being really bothered when Carl Weathers' arm gets like torn off or like blown off or whatever, because I was like, man, so I got to see Apollo die in the ring, and then I got to see him get his arm ripped off and killed in this movie too. Like, come on, man, come on. But it's good stuff, man. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about this movie overall?
So the other day I was going out with my girlfriend. I says to her, "You sure got a big pussy. You sure got a big pussy." So she asked me, "Why'd you say it twice?" I said, "I didn't." Yeah, I love this movie.
Because we echo, man. It's because we echo.
This movie is like, it's my favorite Arnold movie. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And like every time I watch it, I forget that it is an action movie. It has a lot of action, but it's also a slasher movie, except with like, instead of like helpless like teenagers or girls, it's like big buff fucking mercenary dudes in the jungle. It's like, and I always enjoy when a film tries something like that, like taking something and flipping it and doing something different with it. And like it does, like it combines like, a slasher movie with like an action movie. Most of the action really is in the beginning, like, before the Predator actually shows up. When they're actually the biggest action scene is when they're, taking this fucking like outpost down.
Bruh, they don't like just crazy. Take it down. They like demolish that shit.
It's like they just fucking tear through these poor
fuckers. This covert team.
And like they're finding hostages.
This is what it's like.
Finding hostages.
I love what Brian pointed out too. That was a covert operation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're like so far in the jungle. They're like, who's gonna fucking hear?
With a chain gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie's great. Like, I really love it.
Heck yeah, man. Brooks really loves it. What about you, Brian? What do you think overall about Predator?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love this. Yeah, I did see it in the theater. This in high school. I was, the right age for all that, man. And I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger already, and all that stuff. And really like the special effects for that time, that was awesome to see, man. Just like, even just the camouflage like effect, in the trees and everything like that. I mean, and so that, when I watched it the other day, that was just like, I was just trying to put myself back in that mindset, and everything like that. And it was I had a great time watching it again. Yeah, I love this movie. It's it's great.
All right, you love this movie. It's great. All right, Joe, I'm curious to know what you think about this movie and what seedy New York theater you watched it in not too long ago.
Oh, well, the funny thing with this, I will say is it's the first time I've watched this since seeing Prey, like what was that, 2021 now? Or whatever it is. And I gotta tell you, all those people who were like, this is the best Predator movie, what a bunch of dipshits.
No chance.
Like, you have to be out of here. You have to have not seen the original Predator in like decades to be able to come to that conclusion. I like it better than half the Predator movies because a lot of them aren't great. But this one, it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is one of the best movies. Like it's not, well, I'm saying like with action, for an action movie, it's easily one of the better action movies. I mean, Predator's great. It's a lot of fun. It's really interesting watching the movie start as this ensemble action film until it's stripped down to a brutal one-on-one fight in the jungle when Arnold becomes the final girl and has to take on the Predator.
Arnold's the ultimate final girl.
He is, right?
Yeah.
I've been the
Arnold,
best final girl in all of cinema.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, come
American
on.
girl.
I'm a normal American girl. Dodge is my name.
Normal American babysitter.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, just watching that and how like it does that so well. And then you would see other movies that kind of do this. Like, it's been forever since I've seen it, but From Dusk Till Dawn also pulls the same kind of thing where all the characters in the movie think they're in another movie than they're in, and then halfway through realize they're in another movie. And that movie does it really well. I mean, it's been done before since Predator. He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not is a wonderful French film that does a similar kind of thing. It's like a romance, but halfway through you realize that she's more of like a crazy stalker, like things like that. It's got that what's her name, the Amelie girl, who was then in what was it, the Da Vinci Code and those movies.
Yes, with Tom Hanks. I remember. Yeah, I don't remember her name. It's Amelie is her name, right?
Yeah, right. Her name's Amelie. I want to say there's a T in there somewhere, but the letter T, I think, like Audrey Tautou or something. Yeah. See, I was able to. I was able to like John Edwards that. Like, I see a T. Is there? But no, it's but yeah, that's also great. So I guess what I'm saying is also watch this artsy French film.
Yeah, it's a really good double feature to watch.
It's really
Amelie
good.
And the original Barbenheimer.
Find out. I don't watch very many French movies.
I'm a normal French girl. My name is Amelie.
Help this French girl. In the jungle.
I'm Amelie because I'm French.
So I think I like bread. Fancy bread. So I think we need to do the Predator franchise at some point because I've never seen a Predator movie out past Predator 2. Right? Never. Really? I haven't seen Prey, haven't seen The Predator, haven't seen Predators, haven't seen any of the AVP movies. I've neoed those throughout my life. So yeah, I mean, I like Predator and I do like Predator 2 as well.
Predators is okay. Prey is okay.
Which is the one that Shane Black came back to do? Was that The Predator?
That was The Predator. That surprisingly sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Like
Okay.
that was one I was like, I'm looking forward to it. It's Shane Black, and I just remember being in the movie theater and like I'm like, oh no, this is.
Oh,
It had a
no.
ton of reshoots. It had a sexual predator in the movie. Olivia
Wait,
Munn,
like you
cut
saying
out
the predator themselves
actual-
was super
yeah.
sexy? Is that like okay? Never mind. Hold on.
No.
Let's put a pin in that and let's just hold on for a second. All right. This movie has a great cast, and I already told Brian that I was going to go first and take the best character. But you know what? I'm not going to do that because I'm a good host. Eli, you're never late. You're always right on time, my man. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, bro. Jelani, what's a character / performance you want to highlight in this film as being exceptional?
I'm always gonna go with the craziest one. I like Mac. I like Bill Duke.
Anytime.
Yeah, he's just
That was the one that I was going to
that
say,
was
by
him.
the way. Yeah.
really
Bill
Y'all
Duke.
go-
And I knew Mac was gonna be
Hell
like,
yeah.
That
I knew Mac was
scene,
gonna be like the one like
that
there's
scene
no
when
way
he's
I'm gonna-
talking to Jesse Ventura's spirit in the moon, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna carve his
so
name in
bad,
him.
man.
I'm gonna carve your name in him. I'm gonna
No,
carve your name right in him.
Every scene, man, he stole it.
He's
He's
great in
like
Commando,
great.
which that's
Yeah,
where like
he is.
yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna this Green Beret's about to kick you a motherfucking ass. No, he doesn't, by the way. Spoilers.
Yeah,
I bleed
he
you.
was big time.
What?
It was just he was so stoic and all this stuff. And he after a while when he saw it, like all his reservations went. He's like, "Glowing eyes, saw." And like nobody still believes him. And he goes out and like when Jesse Ventura dies and he has the drink for him, I honestly thought he was gonna pour the drink in his mouth, but he was just like, "Yeah, this is for you." It was just such a sad moment. Like it was two buddies, and like his buddy just dies just for some unknown circumstance, and he can't kill the thing that killed him, and it's so sad. And he has one of the best kills next to Billy. But his kill is like he gets shot in the head, but you see it from the other perspective with his brains blowing out the back of his
Go out the
head.
back of his skull.
And it's so clean. It's just that special effect is just one of the best. And then, of course, when he's like shaving, he's like dry shaving, which is the weirdest thing ever you
Like
do.
everybody has like a constant sheen of sweat on them in this movie.
Yeah. And he's just full
These are
of
some moist
sweat.
boys in this
And
movie.
if you think this
Well,
movie
they're
is
in the jungle,
sweaty,
man.
if you think this movie is sweaty, watch Predator 2. That's the sweatiest
Yeah, it
movie
is.
I've ever seen.
Yes.
Well, they only
It's a
come
heat
out.
wave.
They only come out in the heat. Yeah, the predators only show up when it's hot.
Yeah, they make it a
So-
bit, right?
Yeah.
They do.
It's a thing. So I love his character. I hate that he really died, but I mean everybody got to go, pretty much. And that's it. I mean that's all I can pull out. But Bill Duke is already classic. That man is absolutely fantastic. And Black is the Night because I'm the
No shit, dude. No
Jesus
shit. Black
Christ,
as the
man.
night, but fucking just striking
Striking.
performance. My
love
favorite
the scorpion
performance.
man.
He holds Carl Weathers' mouth, and that whole line. He's like, "Yeah, if you ghost us again, I'll cut you real slow, and let you
Real
bleed
quiet.
here. Bleed. I let you bleed here." And I was like, "Damn, damn."
Yeah. And
It's so
the,
scary.
the true romance in this film is his character
Yeah.
and Jesse Ventura,
And Jesse
right?
Ventura.
And I love Jesse Ventura in this movie too. All the homophobic shit aside, I fucking do love him in this movie because he's just cutting wrestling promos throughout the whole
That's it.
movie. And if
That's
you
it.
watch behind the scenes, like he's doing the same thing in real time, man. It's really fun stuff. There's this funny bit, Arnold Schwarzenegger likes to play jokes. He told the wardrobe people to tell him that Arnold's bicep measurement was like 3 inches less than his. And so then Arnold's like, I bet I got a bigger bicep than you. Let's bet a gallon of champagne on it. And so Jesse Ventura's like, yeah. And then Arnold's was actually 3 inches bigger than Jesse Ventura's. But anyway, they both wound up being governors in states in our fine
Yes.
union here. So like, what does that say?
Democracy works.
Does it though? I think both of those are evidence that democracy doesn't work. Anyway, we're moving on. Brooks,
Nah.
Or it has some
Name
issues.
recognition.
Has
Name
some issues.
recognition.
Brooks,
And
what's the
Jesse
character you and
Ventura
I
was
like?
a great governor.
Well, my second like Mac was my first, obviously, but my second would probably be Billy. Like Billy's a great character. He's a very I guess he's probably the most useful member of Dutch's group in this circumstance, because he's the tracker guy. He knows how to get to how to get from A to B, like the best spots. They say he's got this kind of almost supernatural sense, like the nose, I think is what they call it, where like he can just basically, he has kind of like a sense of danger and stuff like that. But I love Billy's like he decides like, I'm going out. He's like, I'm not gonna make it, so he just like throws his gun away and he goes for it. Respect.
The only thing I don't like, because I do love that character, it's tropey, the Native American who's the tracker and all that shit, right? But like, you don't see his kill. This dude is built up to be so badass that you don't see the kill, and that's always the thing that kind of bothered me. By the way, and this is a true story. Somebody mentioned this in the chat. Yeah, there you go. Death Rattle mentioned this. This dude had a reputation for being kind of a shit stir, right? And so he had a bodyguard on set to protect people from him, to make sure that when he went out at night that he didn't get in no bar fights or anything like that, right? So that's actually, it's a really cool character in the film. I just wish we could have seen him die. But we do, in a nice, cool shot with the silhouette, get to see his like spine ripped out, like pre-Mortal Kombat, right? That's some good stuff right there. What about you, Brian?
Like, I think everyone after Mac is the ones he keeps the skulls of. Like, cause like the skull is supposed to like, that's a trophy of like a worthy adversary. I think, like I've watched all the movies. I can't remember. I think the Predator like skins like the ones he doesn't think were worth his time and just leaves them hanging, but he only takes the skulls of the prey that's like worth it.
That's an interesting way to look at that. I never really thought about it like that. I always thought that when he shot Mac, he like fucked up and he's like, fuck, I got him in the head. Now I can't collect the trophy. I'm not going to get the points when I get back to my home planet.
The skulls have like holes in them. So like he had Mac's skull with the hole through it. It's like, okay. Yes, and like they're all in like different states of disrepair.
Well, Brooks paid way more attention than I did, I guess. I guess I was a little bit high, but so was Brooks probably.
That's
Brian,
no excuse. So was I.
Brian, what's a character you want to highlight, my man?
I want to go with the Predator, man. I don't know. It was I love the design, and I mean, like from the first time when I saw it, in theater when teenager, I thought that was just the most badass alien design, man. It was just crazy, and then all the weapons he had were like super cool, I mean, like pointers, and then and he had one of those guns that tracked where he was looking, and everything that like I don't know, I love all that stuff, and just the concept of this race that's so good at this stuff, and that it's just like us here, the parallels between what we do with hunting here and things like that. I don't know,
it'd be funny if it showed a predator come to Earth and he goes back home and he like takes off his armor and he puts on like a suit and does office work.
It's just a 2-week vacation, paid vacation. Yeah.
I would also like the idea of the Predator surviving and making it back to the home planet to be like, mud. They fucked me with mud, bro. Like we got a problem with our technology right here.
Or he's got a quandary. Do I say that? Do I admit this? I mean, I got punked by mud.
What if they don't have mud on that planet and they're like, he put this like stuff on? Like, I have no idea what the hell that even is.
They had some magic stuff.
This dude just disappeared in me with this magic fucking fecal matter that just like fucking covered him, man.
They're fucking wizards, dude.
All right, Joe, what about you? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Well, since my first, second, and third were taken in the order I had them, I'm first going to highlight the fact that since I was also here for when we discussed Mallrats, that the guy that when Arnold like kicks down the door when they're just blowing up that outpost, and he shoots the one guy like through the wall and he just goes like flying out, that was LaFours.
Oh shit!
It was.
LaForce.
It was.
Yeah.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend and also body
Yep.
double at parts. Yeah, that guy's
Yep.
in a lot of movies. He does a lot.
He is
of
in
stuff.
so many movies.
Yeah.
You mean you've never heard of LaForce?
And because he was friends, with Arnold, and during that peak of Arnold, he's in some of the best action movies ever. It's crazy. But I'm also going to highlight, I guess one of the other performances I was thinking of was, the girl Anna, where she throughout is very I am very scared. Like, she really conveys the whole time, I'm scared. There's this she's able to have this kind of mystery around her, because it's she's trying to escape, and then she kind of figures out what's going on.
And once the curtain shows up, she stops trying to escape.
Yeah, and so there's this thing going on, and they're trying to piece it together, and she knows English, she's holding out on them, and there's all that stuff going on, and she was more interesting. A lesser movie wouldn't have cared. A lesser movie would have just been and here's the girl they find, and it would have just been but it felt like they put that extra work into her as a character. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
I would agree with that. Mitch, thank you so much for the super chat. My thoughts on best place to flip dollar books is a Central American jungle. I would agree with that. Mitch, thank you so much for the super chat.
Yeah.
All right, somebody had an echo there going on. All right, so best place to flip dollar books is at a comic shop or a convention, just so you know. No jokes aside. I want to spotlight Dylan, you son of a bitch. Carl Weathers, y'all. Carl Weathers is the best actor in this film. Come on, y'all. Seriously, I love Carl Weathers and everything he's in, whether it's Rocky, whether it's Predator, whether it's Arrested Development. He just kills it every time I see him. I saw him in real life. I didn't meet him because I wasn't going to wait that long at MegaCon, but I did see him in real life, and Carl Weathers is just a treat to see. Also, I know that the worst actor in this film is probably Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I think that he kills it in this movie because he just does a lot of staring. He just does a lot of staring, and those one stick around, and all that kind of shit.
His physicality at the end is awesome too.
Yes, absolutely.
Hanging off the tree and doing all this. Oh my gosh, he was amazing.
What happened to you, Dylan? You used to be someone I could trust.
You've been pushing too many pencils.
Yeah.
What a weird bit too.
I use you like an asset.
We can't not stop and appreciate the arm wrestling greeting that we all need to bring back as macho men that we are, right?
Yeah. We need to prove how tough we are.
What's the matter? What's the matter, Dylan? When I meet Dylan from Dylan's Horror Show in person for the first time, I'm going to do that. This dude's got some twig-ass arms, man. That's what I'm going to do. Style and structure of this film. I think it's beautifully shot, actually. They actually they filmed this in Mexico. They did an excellent job of conveying the sweaty, hot, humid nature of it, but also using the jungle to frame shots. There are moments where we're going through the jungle and the foliage is right there, where it's perfectly framed and adding to the composition. Really fantastically shot. A great pace to this movie. It's got a great first act, a good second act, and a hell of a third act as well. I think it works together. It never is boring. It keeps you going. If one thing I could say is problematic about the structure is that they kill off too many people too soon. Could have let some of those stretch out a little bit. Then maybe we could have seen Billy actually have that awesome fight with the Predator. But I think that it looks great. The Predator costume that they initially designed had a long neck and a bill type thing and these big yellow eyes. It looked like a fucking Darkwing Duck character, bro. It really did. It looked like a villain for Gizmo Duck or some shit like that, right? And it looked so bad when they got the costume on set. The director, John McTiernan, said, "Oh, we're fucked. We're fucked so bad." But then their studio got bought by another guy. They had to convince him to give them more money. And that's when they brought in Stan Winston, because Arnold had worked with him on Terminator, and he developed that super iconic look. And there was a question in the chat. we can address this as well with style and structure. Do you prefer the Predator with mask on or mask off? I prefer it the way it is, mostly with mask on, but we got to see that mask off at the end because it is one ugly motherfucker. Speaking of ugly motherfuckers, Jelani, since you called me one at the beginning of the show, what about you? What do you think about the style and structure of this film?
You're all right. It is it's fantastic. It like we said before, it's like a commando movie at the beginning. It's this rescue mission. We got to get these guys out. Bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. All these things happen. Wait a minute. You're telling me that the hostages really weren't here? What is this? What is this the situation? Oh, you double crossed me, Carl Weathers. I thought you was my boy. We did arm wrestling. We was cool.
And that's it.
Yep. And then you get back, you leave that nonsense, and then all of a sudden, the first guy gets drug off into the woods. You're like, what the hell? Why the hell is this happening? And all of these things start to happen that aren't supposed to be happening, even though they find these bodies in the woods. It's so insane, and it's paced that well. Like, it goes the natural way of the action film and slowly just devolves into this horror hunting thing that's coming after these people. It's absolutely fantastic. I love all of it. It's shot beautifully. The composition for it is absolutely astounding. I love the water scenes where Dutch is in the water and he's jumping. He fell in the water and he starts to swim. It pans out to where he is in the jungle and where he's swimming. He's trying to swim to the shore, and he finally slaps his face in the mud, just from the sheer exhaustion. I love the way that whole scene. I love that entire scene. There are tons of other scenes in this movie that do that. John McTiernan is perfect for action. He knows how to put his shots. He knows where to go with it. It's great to watch. I mean, it's really awesome. All three acts are just jam-packed, full of just absolute craziness, and especially at the end when it goes from that, it's just primal. He goes into this thing where he has to keep the mud on. He has to make bows and arrows, makes fire for distraction. It's all crazy, man. I love the special effects with this. I love that the Predator's eyes are infrared anyway, but it helps with the helmet, which doesn't do too much. I don't know how the hell he sees, and I don't know how the hell he made his cool costume, and the technology that he has with the infrared eyes he has. It makes no sense to me, unless they forced other people to do their tech. That's the only other thing I can think of. Because
I'm just gonna
if I
say
had infrared eyes, I don't think I'd be doing all that.
I'm just gonna say the Predator home planet is got to be one of the sexiest home planets ever because they all wear fishnets.
Yep,
so that's pretty
all
dope. Actually,
fishnets,
full body fishnets,
well,
which
yep.
is hot as fuck to me. So I think that's dope.
Yeah.
I love the infrared vision so much, right? And it works because what they did was they shot stuff in infrared, but they also shot it in reality as well, and they kind of composited it together, so it actually kind of comes across very clean and clear and concise. Clean, clear, concise. The 3 C's. Speaking of the 3 C's, the other 4th C is Crooks. What's up, Crooks? Fuck, that was the worst transition I've ever done. Brooks, what do you think about the style and structure? And let's just forget that ever happened.
Okay, Robbie.
The new bit, all of our names start with C. That's what's going to happen. What's up, I can't wait to get to crying.
Yeah. Crying Brian.
And of course, Crow.
But yeah, I like the structure of this movie because, it does start off as like, it's setting up a badass action movie. And then it just so seamlessly makes the turn into like, the kind of slasher movie at the end. And I love, the way they use the first person perspective of the Predator in a lot of ways to show that he just walks up to him, he just gets like, he'll get so close to him, like he'll just walk in their campsite while they're sleeping. It's like, it's fun watching this Predator. He's just fucking around, it's like, he's just like, oh, I'll kill these guys, but I'll do it when I feel like it. Like, ooh, dead scorpion. But yeah, this movie's great. Like, no notes.
I like it. What about you, Crying? What do you think?
Oh man, yeah. Pacing. I always, I get bored kind of easily, and even though I've seen this movie, I don't know, probably 20 times because I probably bought this movie the day it came out on VHS too. I mean, I absolutely love this one. So yeah, but yeah, wasn't bored even for a second. Wasn't checking my phone or anything. I mean, I think the pace was just perfect for it. But I do agree that like I could have dealt with a little bit more in the as they were taking out the crew and everything like that. That would have been pretty dope to see. And yeah, I know I mentioned it earlier, but special effects at that time they were great, and that was that was definitely one of the big draws of it. With the infrared and all the different things. But then like but yeah, I liked what y'all were talking about, just how McTiernan does the action, because like, I mean, some of that stuff is just, some of that's ridiculous, but it just looks so cool. It was like, it's just fantastic. Like, I don't know, the way he was like, trying to draw the Predator out with all those explosions and everything like that. I mean, it was just like all this pure chaos. And, he probably just had to light a fire and hold a torch, but anyway, I mean, but it looked fantastic. It was really cool, and it ratcheted up the tension and everything like that. I guess it was definitely more threatening than what I suggested, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no complaints about, all the choices I made. I thought were great. So, I mean, it's good stuff.
No notes.
Yeah, no notes. Oh, and I prefer the mask on. I think that is a cool, sleek mask design. I really like it, but it is cool when it's revealed, right? I mean, I agree, but yeah, no, it's just so sleek, and I love the lines on it, man. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, it's just when he takes the mask off, he's just one ugly motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. I didn't even remember what they said it was in the TV cut, but they said something like, "You're one ugly beast." Yeah, that's what it was. You're one ugly beast or something like that. Could you imagine hearing Arnold go beast when he's saying motherfucker, like both, like with his lips? We got to watch the TV cuts.
Yeah, I just hope it was poorly dubbed.
I do too. Man. You're one ugly beast.
Beast? Like it's a question.
Co Corallo is here as well. Co, you are a fuck. We're going to end the C bit. All right, Joe, you are an editor and a writer of great books. I want you to know right now, for some reason, today when I was doing my Diamond reorder, I had to go and check something because I've been selling She Said Destroy every single week at my shop for like weeks now. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like where all of a sudden, like we sell the book, it sells well for us because we're always pumping your work at my shop, if you don't know.
Well, thank you.
But She Said Destroy, two of my homies, Joe and Liana, working together. I'm so happy. That book's still selling for us. It's an evergreen title for us right now. It's Perennial Joe. So Perennial Joe, why don't you tell us what you think about the style and structure of this film?
Well, one thing that popped to mind was no one ever talks about that lull in Predator. Like, no one's like, oh, you got to get through this, but you never hear that about this movie. Like, no one's like, it drags. This, like, because there's some movies like that people are like, it's good, but it drags here. Like, this is like, no, it's like at a breakneck speed pretty much the whole time. And even when it's like stripped down, and that like last half hour where it's like really more or less like maybe 25 minutes, whatever it is where it's just Arnold and the Predator, and it's like there's barely any dialogue, and it's just this like primal sort of fight. Even then, it's just so gripping, and it does a really good job at kind of seamlessly switching gears between just brutal action movie. And they basically condense an action movie by within like one act doing a 3-act action movie of like, all right, we're recruiting you all to go on to the mission. Oh, we're into the mission. Oh, we've been betrayed. Oh, we got to get out of here and put our differences aside and make it home. Like, that's a whole hour and a half movie, and they do it in like 40-ish minutes, if that.
Yeah. It would take them 3 hours to do that nowadays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, forget it. I mean, So they do. It's like they just did missing in action in half an hour. instead of having to go through the.
If only they had Predator to look at. Chuck, I got a movie.
But yeah, it does a great job with that, and then when it randomly like just becomes a slasher movie, and they do a good job again with like keeping the pace up with that. I think even though they kill off some people pretty quickly, once you get to that point, you basically get a whole movie's worth of those characters interacting and their growth before they just start getting picked off. So it's kind of like having your cake and eating it too. It's like, we're killing off these guys fast, but it's fast because it's like it's a new movie now, halfway through your movie. So I feel so you do end up getting a lot of a lot to care about the core team before they get killed off. So I appreciate that in the structure as well.
Oh, absolutely. And Eddie, the station stuff, it comes from Bill and Ted. Basically, think of it as hello, goodbye, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes, right? And Elijah, you're right. I remember the laugh the Predator lets out towards the end always creeped me out. So good as a lad. I'll tell you what, you know who was the voice of the Predator? Anybody? Peter Cullen. Yep. Peter Cullen was the voice of the Predator. So that's pretty dope. That's Optimus fucking Prime, y'all.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. And Station 2 Gun, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody being here. I really appreciate all of you. What's next? There it is. The notes. Music. On DeLorean, we're getting right to it. The score is by Alan Silvestri, who we will know from things like Back to the Future, right? I love the score in this movie. It's got that like militaristic kind of thing to it that we hear in things like Missing in Action, but it actually also is good, right? It's not just like it's not just like it's not just like it doesn't just feel like what do you call it when it's music that you can just have at any time, like that you can just pull out, right, or whatever. It doesn't feel like just like easy royalty free type music that you can just throw together. It actually has some good themes. It's got a great score. That score helps the pace of this film, man. And it does so excellently. I love the score of this film. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about the music?
I love it, man. It's like da 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 da. Man, it's like it's that upbeat, like combat ready music. I don't know what that is, but it tears through the screen. It's very it can be repetitive, but it's not a bad repetitive. It's just it flows straight through this movie. All the scary bits where there's silence and then there's music to back it up towards the when they're running through the woods. Oh yeah, that stuff's awesome. It's freaking genius. Alan Silvestri is a great composer. Yeah, he knocked it out of the park for this one.
Absolutely,
just to be honest. And Long Tall Sally, I love that, man. I love that song. Yeah, baby. And Max starts to sing it when he's have a good time tonight. Good time tonight. And he's like taking his vest off and trying to grab the gun. Oh yeah, that scene is like, it trips me out. But he's singing the song that they were playing in the helicopter, and it sounds like it's a regular like action commando movie, and it just goes off the rails, and that music just it shows at the beginning when they're playing that music that this is another day at the office. This is what they do. They rescue people. They blow shit up. I think the reason they started blowing shit up was they killed a hostage. I think they were gonna be stealth about it, and then Arnold was like, he's like, oh no, they killed the hostage. To sweep around, and he does it. And
I love when he's like, we're not assassins, we're a rescue squad. No, bro, you are straight up assassins.
You are like Jesse Ventura with his chain gun. I'm here to rescue you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Yeah, the sound design is great too. When the Predator comes out of the water and electricity's crackling, popping, and the music's like, I'm like, oh yeah, you got me, dog. You know that it plays really well in this movie. It doesn't remind me of Oppenheimer, which the music is obnoxiously beautiful. Just to throw Oppenheimer over there.
The music is
music's-
beautiful in
The
Oppenheimer.
music,
What are you
the
talking
music is all the way through it, and it's loud and it's perfect, and it's a horror movie kind of aspect.
Yeah.
Just to throw Oppenheimer in here, it's fantastic. I love that movie, but it's not that. It's different. It's good, but it's not the same. Oppenheimer is just freaking awesome. But yeah, all right, just throwing that in there.
about?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. What about you, Brooks? What did you think about the music?
I like the music in this movie. Like it has a very action movie army guy kind of feel early on. Then later on, it gets a little deeper, a little more menacing. It uses this kind of rattling sound a lot too, like the kind of because the jungle is like a big part of this film, like this atmosphere that they're in, and like the rattle kind of makes the sound like like winds. Like something whispering through the leaves, voices you might hear if you're out in like a jungle, and like you're not used to hearing certain sounds, so you might misconstrue like that kind of the wind ruffling through the leaves is like voices speaking or something like that. So I think it really like adds to the menace. I think like a very good soundtrack. Like man, I watched it twice just so I could get the full soundtrack effect, and like it's an impressive soundtrack. I have to give it to him.
Yeah, it really is, man. And Alan Silvestri, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future. Like, I mean, we've seen so much.
He's done a few things.
Yeah,
He's
this
alright.
kid's got a future in this industry, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Brian? What did you think about the music?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Not sure what to add. I mean, it was great. I will say at first, I don't think I was paying attention to it, but then something bit, something, I can't remember exactly what, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. So I was able to bring it into focus and everything. But like I think my favorite bits though were towards the end when it was like all frantic and, it would look like, there's nothing really going on. And then, all these frantic noises would appear. I don't know. I mean, that was my favorite bit. I love that part. It was very effective and very menacing and everything like that. So
Absolutely.
very effective soundtrack.
Joe, what do you think about the music?
No, sort of same thing, same notes people had. I'll add to it that some of what I really like about it is, it does have that military, action kind of movie soundtrack to it at first. And then as that starts to fade away, it does creep back in at points later on when it's that more like menacing, like dun-dun-dun-dun, like kind of stuff going on. And you'll get those like little moments where it like kind of goes back to that. And I do really like that. And I think it's most effective, the soundtrack, overall, when you really get it stripped down towards the end, because there's no dialogue and it's really the music, that score that's like carrying the tone and the feel of the movie at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. Before we get into the theme of this movie and what we think it's trying to say, what's your favorite one-liner in this movie, Jelani?
Get to the chopper.
Okay.
I mean, of course.
I love the way
And
they
he's on
build
the
up to
ground.
that on the rewatch, and they had no idea that was going to be a meme at any point, right? But
Well,
like
he says it twice in the movie.
they build up to it though, because
Yeah.
you're like, we're gonna like Carl Weathers starts like, then we're gonna get to the chopper. They just keep saying it, right? And then it just builds up to that last moment. It's like, get to the chopper. That we all love, we all remember it. Brooks, what about you? Aside from that one, what's your favorite one line?
It's literally one word. Anytime.
Nice.
I love that scene where Mac where he does the scorpion thing. Like he basically tricks Carl Weathers into turning around. He's very quick.
I love how all these people make Carl Weathers look like a little bitch. You know what I'm saying?
He
doesn't even dress fits on his shoe.
He deserves it.
He's
Mac is
a
always
villain, right?
disrespecting him.
Yeah.
Well, he's been pushing that pencil around.
Yeah, he's been pushing pencils for too long. They could smell the weakness on him.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Brian? What's your favorite one-liner that hasn't been mentioned?
I think my least favorite is that stick around. I did cringe on that one. I was like, oh,
stick around.
But I don't know. I like that, Dylan, you son of a bitch. I was like that one.
You fucker. You stole mine. All right.
Sorry.
Just stick around. All right. Actually, that's, I think, my best Arnold impersonation I've ever done. Stick around. All right, Joe, what about you? You got one?
how do you not go with, I ain't got time to bleed? That whole.
That's a good one.
That's
Jason
a great.
Ventura has some great lines. Yep.
All right, that gets me to the point where I get to go. You are one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm a normal American girl. I'm Dutch. Anyway, I like doing jump rope. Anyway, we're just stealing a lot of bits from Tom Scioli tonight. All right, what is this movie trying to say? What is the theme? This movie is action packed. It's got a lot of explosions. It's got sci-fi action. It's cool. It's macho. It's beefy. But it's got a point to it. Jelani, what's this movie speaking to you?
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Pretty much. There's something out in the woods. We don't know what it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's just that, man. It's something about this film that it's a regular rescue mission. Regular for the 80s. And because normally you just sneak in and get the people and get them out and then not blow them to shreds. But it turns into this man versus monster kind of situation. And apparently if it bleeds, you can kill it because they're killing tons of people on their own. They're predators themselves, attacking predators. And then after their meeting, they are preyed upon. So it's kind of like this dog eat dog world of survival, and it's kind of scary. Like, because if they didn't have violence at all, and I know you didn't watch Predators in the Adrian Brody movie, but it's based on kind of that too. All these people are taken and put in a place to fight the predators.
Kidnap people
They're on another planet, right?
Kidnap another planet, to fight predators. Well, that's the spoiler. It's kind of a spoiler, but it's been out forever.
It's the Hunger Games.
But yeah, they get put out there to hunt, and they're all killers in some form or fashion. Even Topher Grace, they're all some type of predator that's in the movie. That's why they were chosen to be there, because that's what they hunt. That's what predators hunt. And the reason why the girl picks up the gun and Arnold's like, no, don't do it. Oh, get to the chopper. Kind of the situation when he's running. It's because she wasn't holding a gun. It's why she didn't die at first. Yeah. She wasn't an aggressor, and she wasn't generating the heat of a killer. That's why he saw the heat. He kills what produced that heat. It's slowly, methodically killing everyone else that had a gun and that was doing that. And it's just, and to find out that, everything dies, it's not immortal. It's not an immortal beast. It's not something that that's just OP. You can stop it. And even in Prey, there's a little 112-pound girl that's able to take down a predator with intelligence. It's not the best movie, but it tells a lot. It says a lot about, the hunter and the hunted. Because at first, like I said before, Arnold was the hunter, and then he became the hunted. And then it switches in the end as well when he turns into the hunter again. And it's trippy, man. It's just really trippy thing. But if it bleeds, we can kill it. That's all I can say.
I guess I'm really glad for genre fans that enjoy it, that we got the Alien versus Predator 2 movies or whatever, but I really am sad that we missed out on the Predator versus Home Alone franchise that was just aching to be made right there. And by the way, Eddie, I always thought the theme was if you get primal and trust your instincts, you can trump superior tech and weapons. That's the theme of Return of the Jedi. It's just fucking Ewoks. The Ewoks evolve into predators. Holy shit, y'all. Think about that.
Yeah, they do.
The Ewoks evolve into the predators. I think we need to call George Lucas. Actually, I guess not. Bob Iger.
Pilots,
we need to call Bob Iger.
And drop the Nub Nub song. Yup, Nub.
Brooks, what's this movie speaking to you?
I think a big thing about this movie is the idea of like nature versus technology, because like the setting is a place that is like almost completely natural. Like, there's very little man-made structure within there outside of like, the outpost, but throughout most of the movie, like, they're out in the shit, it's even commented on it a couple of times, like, you got hurt out here, you'd be in a world of hurt. And like, the Predator, his technology, like, it serves him real well in the beginning, but eventually, like, nature starts working against him. Like, the mud covers up Arnold to keep him from, having his heat vision advantage. Like, his gadgets start getting messed up by, like, various things, like, getting water in them, or like, just various jungle gunk. It's like, and the thing that beats all of his, like, despite all of this fancy Predator alien technology, is like just this dude with ingenuity and, like, a plan, and, like, he, and using the very the natural structure of the jungle as his weapon against him in the end. So it was like, it's like, technology can trump nature, but nature can also trump technology, just depending on the situation, I suppose.
I just feel really bad because we've been saying Trump too much, so we're going to get really fucked in the YouTube algorithm. So everybody just
Or maybe not.
stick around. Anyway, so One Collection, Fable, my man, Predator Marathon. I'm going to go ahead and announce this because, I like to commit to shit way too soon. Next year, ActionFest 2024, we end with the Predator franchise, so I can finally watch a Predator movie outside of Predator 1 and 2.
Oh,
How about that?
God.
That's what we're doing.
God.
We're going to talk about this movie again
Can
next
we
year.
skip AVP? God. Fuck.
Can
we
we
skip the Predator?
we just
oh my
do
God.
any
Can we
Predator
just do
movie that
1,
didn't have
2,
alien in the title. I know.
right?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man.
All right.
Brian, what about you, man? What do you think this movie's about to you? What's it speaking?
I thought it was like, if you get in really good shape and work out like crazy, you can shoot harder.
Yeah.
Right?
You can hold them
the
in.
bullets go faster if you have bigger muscles.
You can get that
Some
helicopter.
Boxer
gun
Rebellion stuff going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's adding to it. Yeah. No, it's, I mean, y'all brought up, great stuff on the theme there. I guess, I was thinking there was, like, some of the imperialism kind of going on. I mean, that's kind of, it opened up with, a rescue mission, and then it turns into,
Doing
this
the
kinda,
CIA guy.
Yeah. Working into, kind of, playing around in everybody's backyard, and trying to manipulate things, and obviously that went wrong. But yeah, and it's also just kind of, it's just a good look at, the primal nature of, things too. Right. I mean, cause it starts off like, with kind of imperialism kind of stuff, and then going on, almost like devolving, just to this primal, urge, kind of everything like that. It's just kind of, I don't know if that's a theme, but like, I don't know. It just seemed like that was a good progression to kind of follow and everything like that. So yeah. I don't know.
Absolutely. And just like Return of the Jedi, imperialism is a part of the thing. Yeah. This
They're-
movie's got a lot of parallels. I think we need
they're
to
basically
call.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is basically the same movie as Return of the Jedi, obviously. All right.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you? What do you think? What's this movie speaking to you?
Yeah, definitely. It's the imperialism, the colonialism. It's very much about, taking these characters who are from a civilization, a culture that doesn't have the technological advances as these other people coming in who are doing whatever they want, and it's a very sort of alien kind of experience of like, oh my God, like this is that even human? Like they're walking around in this like armor and they have these weapons and we have no idea what their goals are, what this language it's we don't understand it on like any level. So it parallels really closely to that, which brings me to this point of how stupid everyone is now, because the reason that Prey got a lot of praise was because it was doing that, but really on the nose. And this movie isn't beating you over the head with it. It's
Right.
like you have to think for a second to realize, oh, this is like, colonialism, and this parallels to, the Europeans coming and kind of just doing whatever the hell they want without any regard for, how the people already here feel. So this movie has that element in it. It's just not beating you over the head with it. And then a movie that like breaks your nose on that gets everyone going like, oh my God, it's so powerful because they told me how to feel about this. And they just told me very directly what this is.
Are you No Way Home and Prey?
But no, I mean, it's just very like, it's Prey is like an intellectual film for idiots.
I thought it was Splinters.
You know, and that's, and I say this as someone, and I enjoyed the movie. I like Prey. I said,
Joe.
I think Prey is in the upper half of Predator movies because, like we said, there are some real hard to get through Predator movies.
Yes. High garbage. Yes.
But it's, you know, it's like it's the same point again, but people act like it's somehow a more thoughtful film because it's more transparent. And I hate how that seems. There are more and more people that review and look at movies that way, being like, "Oh, this movie's very profound because it told me it's profound." And it's like, maybe you're actually really.
I don't remember it telling you that. I gotta disagree, Joe.
I love what Joe was saying. I haven't even seen Prey, but I also love how.
Well, the movie is literally Native Americans fighting.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Like it's so literal in that it's like, yes, I get it. That's what the first movie's about, but it's not, you know, actually that, you know, it's like that kind of thing.
More so than what I love about what Joe is saying is how offended Jelani's getting and how defensive he's getting about it. I love it.
I'm not.
He didn't call you stupid, Jelani.
No, no, I know he didn't. I know you didn't.
Maybe he did, actually.
But no, I'm more talking about like the people who like, you know, review these movies in that way and go like, it's so profound and it's so like.
I think what pissed Joe off was the moment people said, "Well, this is way better than the first one." He said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So like
it's not.
That is ridiculous.
Not. Yeah, it's the best movie probably since Predator. Like in the Predator progression,
Mm-hmm.
I would do
Prey
like
number 2 slot probably.
I would do two.
It might be, it
would be Predator, Prey, and Predator 2, and then everything else is just you can just forget.
All right. Let's just. I know everybody doesn't know what's going to be their life a year from now, but Joe, you got to be here for the Predator fucking franchise review, man.
Yeah.
I would be happy to.
You too, Fable. We're going to save a spot for you as well. All right. For me, y'all all touched on stuff that I was wanting to say, but I will say this: the illusion of power. What is real power? Well, a lot of people would tell you that power is getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go pump some fucking iron. Pump iron, right? And build up and be the most badass motherfucker ever. When they did this movie, the actors had to go through training with someone who was in Special Forces military. They all couldn't cut it. They all didn't. They hated it, except for Jesse Ventura. Why? Because he's a former Navy SEAL, right? So you think about the training, the weapons, the technology, the muscles, Arnold. No. They're not the most powerful people in this movie. Oh, it must be the Predator, this alien species come to Earth who's obviously got the cheat codes to Contra. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's invisible. He's got like crazy fucking lasers, all kinds of nutty shit. No, he's not the fucking winner of this movie either. Who is the winner? The U.S. government. Ooh, think about that.
It's always the government.
This movie's an anti-government. Like y'all were talking about colonialism, imperialism. That is the point of this movie. The whole reason. It's not Arnold versus the Predator for the first act. Because like Joe said, the first act is a whole movie that anybody else would turn into not just a 2.5 hour movie, because they wouldn't be able to cut it down to that. They'd be like, we got to do Predator Part 1 and then Predator Part 2. We're going to film it together and we're going to release them separately, right?
Then we're going to put the second part at the beginning.
It was a missing in action symbol.
And then do it at the end. Because that's smart. That's how we do movies.
But that could easily be done. that first part to me sets up what I think is the theme of this movie. And I think that the stuff between Dutch and the Predator at the end are kind of a reflection of this. Like, and I think the movie's kind of brilliant with the way it's structuring itself thematically, because in the beginning it's Dylan versus Dutch. That's the conflict. The conflict is between the lies that the government or the CIA is telling these soldiers, these people that are out there who are at peak perfection, ready to go there subtly for a rescue mission. They're not there to like destroy a whole village, right?
So covert.
But if it comes to it, they can get uncovert. It's like they're like the Wildcats. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, covert action team. What does that even fucking mean? That word makes no. Those words make no sense put together.
Covert actions.
They just giggle every time they say covert. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, we're covert. We're not assassins. But no, it's about that. It's about the tragedy of human life at the decision of somebody in a fucking desk. You know what I'm saying? It's about that. And then the Predators come in and make them know that they're not shit. But then the Predator's not shit, actually, because Arnold's got that human. Yeah, humans are the ultimate predator on this planet, right? But it's not because of our muscle. It's because of our systems that we've developed, right? And the untouched person in this film, the untouched entity, I should say, is the U.S. government. Does that make sense? Am I stretching too much? Does Prey dive into that, Joe? Does Cortez show up?
Prey's like a really like gritty, stripped down movie.
Okay.
You know, what?
I'm excited for this.
Nothing. I was kidding. God dang. Damn.
Frozen Burrito says, I think there is a comment on the Iran-Contra situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
There
the drug
is.
war. It takes
Libya.
place in Central America. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The CIA's there.
All the 80s stuff.
But they don't have to beat us over the head with it. And I'm glad that Joe mentioned that. All right. Time to rate the film. We've all been speaking very highly of it. And I'm so happy that after missing in action, we had Ip Man and we had Predator to recover on, because that movie fucking sucks. Okay.
It's so
freaking terrible.
You out there in the chat, out of 5 possible ya digs, what do you give Predator? Jelani, kick us off.
Yeah, man, way better, way better. Like if Canon Films had done Predator, we would not be talking about it today. Let's just put it like that. There would just be no way, because they probably would have gotten Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was like, "Shut up! You're gonna stay in the suit and do it till we're done," and they would have kept the goofy ass outfit, and they would have done it. They would cost cut so much to where, I mean, it's been $5 movie, man. Oh yeah, one more thing about missing in action. God dang it, the dumbest scene I ever saw. Very beginning, they're like running into the river and stuff. They're getting shot at by these people, and they're like by the trees. And like Chuck Norris looks over at the guy, and the guy like gives him a thumbs up, and then immediately gets shot. God, I hate that movie. I hate it so much. There's so many bad scenes in that movie. It just gives me flashbacks. Anyway, this is a 5, clearly a 5, and absolutely this is Arnold's movie. This is the Arnold movie that I absolutely adore. The minigun that was used in that Jesse Ventura used, he also used it in Terminator 2, the exact same gun. I think there's so many little cool Easter eggs in this movie that are just so awesome, and it sets up a franchise that is very, very miss, but it has a few hits. Prey is one of them. I'm just saying, but it's just. Predator, it just sets the tone for it. Predator 2 gives the city feel for it, like it's the city Predator doing his thing. But this one is the one that starts it all. It's the granddaddy of awesome Predator, and it's absolute banger. I will watch it again. I've watched it multiple times in my lifetime anyway. It scared the crap out of me as a kid. It's right up under Thing. Thing is still the scariest movie I've ever watched. Still is. But this is a 5.
You deducted points from John Carpenter's The Thing because it was so scary. But you won't do
shit
that
out of me. Nope, can't do it. Different movie, different feelings when I saw it. thing. I can't.
All
It's
right,
gotta
so
get lower.
a
Let's
5
stop talking
from
about that.
Jelani. A perfect score, you say?
Perfect score, my friend.
Perfect score. All right. What about you, Brooks? There's a lot of high marks in the chat right now. Get your rating in right now for Predator out of 5, you digs. Brooks, what do you got?
Yeah, I give this one a 5. And there's one scene in this movie that like it just gives me so much joy every time I watch it. And it's the scene where Mac is like right after Blaine dies, and Mac just picks up his gun and just starts firing into the fucking jungle, and then everybody just shows up and just starts firing in whatever direction he's at. And like it's just like they're just firing and like they don't know what they're shooting at. All they know is like Mac is shooting there. So like, you know, Arnold's like, "Urgh," and then the other guy is shooting his fucking grenades and shit. And like it amounts to nothing. They don't hit anything. It's like the impotence of this like they have this powerful attack, but it does absolutely nothing. It's kind of like it kind of sets up the film, I guess, in a way, you know. That's like they just finished, you know, massacring all these guys, and then they're about to find out, you know, that maybe they're not as badass as they thought they were. But then I love like the machismo in this movie, dude. This movie's like it's cranked up to 100, dude. These dudes are like so fucking manly. It's like
They're
watching these
men.
dudes will make you a
80s, man.
sexual tyrannosaurus. Like no joke, man. Like, and it's just like it's so funny because like, you know, it's kind of self-aware in a way about how, you know, how ridiculous our action stars can be when, you know, when they're doing this kind of things. But man, this movie is just so much fun to watch. Like I love watching this movie like every time. So perfect score for me. 5.
Fuck yeah. I do love all
Anytime.
the sweaty, bulgy muscles in this movie, though. I'm not going to lie.
These dudes are glistening, man.
Dude, they really are. And they
These
like,
boys are
so
fucking
hot and
glistening.
sweaty.
if you watch the behind the scenes,
Mm.
Carl Weathers is like, so we all have to go to the gym and work hard to get that pump to look that good. But nobody wants the other actors to know that they have to go to the gym to do that. So they're all like sneaking around trying to go to the gym separately at different times so that nobody sees that anybody's actually working for it.
Nice.
I love it. Perfect scores around the board so far. Brian, Brian, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 4.5. I really do love this movie. I don't know. I don't know. Something stopping me from giving it a 5, but I love everything about it. And I love it more after we've talked, you know? Yeah. And and part of it, yeah, one of the things I love is that nostalgia. I mean, that bodybuilding thing, I mean, I think that hit its peak in that 80s, you know, kind of time frame, you know, and everything like that. And it was just like permeated everything, you know. I don't know. It just there was a, you know, it's supposed to take place. Was that one supposed to take place in the future too? Or was that
Predator
the
2
first one?
does.
Predator
Predator
2
2
takes
does.
place. Well, it's no
2000 or
longer the
something?
future. It's no
No,
longer
it's
the
not.
future now.
Or 1989.
It's like 7 years in the
I think it's
future or whatever.
1997.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not much.
97.
Right. Yeah.
It's released in 1990. I think it takes place in 97 or something like that. Kind of like
Right.
Demolition Man at first.
Yeah, it's
right?
like a Demolition Man style dystopia.
It's a rat burger.
Yes.
All right, a
You're definitely
4.5
right.
from Brian because he's got to kind of always be the buzzkill of the group, and that's the way it worked at Heroes Con. We'd be all hanging out, and Brian would be all like, "Fucking guys, I think we all need to drink some juice right now."
That I didn't say that once.
I'm just kidding, man. You did tell me to drink water though.
Did I? Is
Yeah,
that
I don't
me?
like people telling me to make sure I drink water when I'm drinking. I don't.
Drink
Like
water.
That was me. I don't think that was me, man.
I'm just. It's a bit just going on with it, Brian.
Okay, well, I'm trying to remember.
Joe, what about you? Out of 5, you think
remember
what do you
a
give
bit.
Predator?
You know, I was kind of in a similar sort of dilemma. I was like, is it going to be a 4.5 or a 5? And I was thinking about it, and I feel like I have to give it a 5 because I can't be like, well, what's stopping it? What's the points to tick off? I'm like, I there's nothing I would really change or do differently, or anything I'd have rather just everything about it just works for me. And yeah, I just have to give it a 5 for that. I did think about it, but yeah.
Okay. I love y'all. I love everybody out there in the chat. Chris, I love you. Chaos and Comics. I I can't give this movie a 5. I'm sorry. I don't know. This movie's not life changing to me, and I only give 5 to life changing movies like Reanimator. You know what I'm saying? So, as ridiculous as that sounds, I can't give this a 4.5 either. That's too low. That is too low. So I will split the difference in the PCP way, and I'll give Predator a 4.69, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'll do that because I can't give it a 5, but I get what everybody's saying. This movie is fucking badass, and I can.
Coward's Way.
Yep. Payback time.
A 5 from Jelani and Brooks and Joe, a 4.5 from Brian, and a 4.69 from me for a PCP average of a 4.99969. So I think that's a fair rating for the first Predator. Maybe? No?
Sure.
I feel like I pissed people off now. What the fuck?
Yeah. I feel bad, man.
I can't say anything, dude.
I'm good.
Yeah. Y'all need to rewatch Funhouse, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah,
Reanimator was really a life changer. I'm not kidding, Lulu. That movie was great. I just showed Lulu Reanimator the other night. She loved it. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's the test.
Elevator.
Like, is this person going to be cool as a friend, as an introduction into my life? Let's watch Reanimator and see what you feel.
That's life changing.
So that thus concludes our movie review of the most requested movie for us to do for ActionFest, which is Predator. So there you go. There you go. Oh, my mom, I didn't watch Reanimator till I was in my 20s. I didn't know it existed as a kid. I wish I watched that movie as a kid. I would have loved it. Straight up would have loved that movie. All right. Next week, we conclude ActionFest with a triple feature. We'll be talking about all 3 Eddie Murphy classics and Judge Reinhold classics. Beverly Hills Cop, the trilogy, will be discussed here in its entirety for the grand finale of ActionFest 2023. Then a 2-week break, and then it's Horror Fest time, y'all. 32 shows, talking about over 50 movies across 3 channels. It's the biggest and baddest Horror Fest ever. It's going to be great. But they got Hatchet Fest going on Dylan's Horror Show this upcoming Saturday. They'll be talking about Hatchet 2 and Hatchet 3. They talked about 1 last week. Then they're doing 2 and 3. Then Victor Crowley. And then we're kicking off Horror Fest over at Dylan's Horror Show with Maniac on August 26th. And join us the following Monday for the entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Joe's going to be there for that. And when everybody who agreed to this panel, I was like, here's the list, just so you know. Because some people think there's only 3 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. But there's 9 of those motherfuckers, y'all. 9. And I've only seen 4 of them. No, 5 of them, because I saw the remake. I haven't seen anything after the remake, actually. Well, except for the new one. Never mind. I've seen more. I've seen 6. Whatever. There's 3 I haven't seen. Jelani, thank you for being here. Any final thoughts? What you got coming up?
Yeah, man. Great movie. 4.69, sure. Okay. 4.5. Okay, I understand. I get you guys. You're all right with me. It's okay. But Brooks and I do this show called Go Figure Reviews. We do some stuff where we review some toys and do some things. This week, for last week, kind of came out this week. We dropped the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem video. It's doing really well. I'm surprised. It's like going up because I guess it's topical and they're everywhere. But it's the pizza van, which is pretty cool.
I love that Jelani's like, it's doing really well. I'm surprised, maybe because it's topical.
Yeah, it's topical. We're doing it. I'm showing the van now, but yeah, it looks good. I like this van. And it does
that's cool really stuff. Dope, man. That's almost as cool as the vintage.
It does a pizza shooter. Yeah.
It's better than the vintage, man. It comes with
better than the vintage, dog. It's 100% better.
Got
a pizza. It's a pizza thrower. And also we had the Vampirella Big Bad Toy Store figure review. Yeah, if you like spicy figures, we do those as well here at the show. If you want to
once
check
again,
that one out.
I can tell that's a thumbnail because it had some skin on it. You had to make that thumbnail yourself, didn't you, brother?
Sure did. Yeah, it's a terrible world.
That's a good thumbnail. I am
Nice.
obligated, by the way. My name is Robbie Shills. I'm obligated to tell everybody go buy every Vampirella book. They're really great.
They are.
Dynamite Comics rocks.
Dynamite.
And buy Cherish while you're at it.
Yep.
It's true.
All right.
That's it.
Excited. Was the Vampirella figure cool? Is it nice?
Yeah,
It's all right. It can't stand for shit. But
So I could use a little more.
It's got a black costume?
yeah, I got her sexily posed right here too.
Oh,
Don't
hold on. Let me
care.
see that. I really kind of
Oh,
like that,
it's
bro.
so freaking blurry, but yeah,
I
that's
want
all
one of those, but it's got to be the red costume, man. Come on.
right. She's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
I got the black one because it comes with a vamped out. It comes with a vamped out head and bloody claws. She's
Oh, I
awesome.
got you.
With
Word.
that
So it's
stuff
like a
on.
variant. It's a Vampirella variant, is what you're saying.
Yeah, little variant. It's a variant. It's a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. We did a yes, and we show
Okay.
off other Loose Collector figures. It's made by Loose Collector. So we've got the Tarna from Heavy Metal, and we have what's her name, Lady Death. So soon we'll get the other sets and do those reviews
Nice
as well.
By the way, if you like sexy
Yeah.
women in fantasy and sexy men, check out Fire and Ice from Dynamite Comics this Wednesday at your
Looking forward
local
to that.
comic shop. Brian, I skipped Brooks for some reason. We'll get back to you, Brooks, because he's just going to say the same stuff. Brian, thank you for being here. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, really loved revisiting this film. Sorry for my disappointing rating. You know,
I love it when a 4.5 is a disappointing rating. We're
Yeah,
like, dude, really?
I was trying to adjust, man, because I felt like I was giving too many, just throwing the fives out.
That's a
little too
9 out of
randomly.
10, y'all. That's really
Yeah.
good. That's a good rating.
But yeah,
Never be
no,
ashamed
yeah.
of your rating, Brooks. I mean, Brian, damn it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. But yeah, glad to be here. And yeah, I don't know. Guess want to say, RIP to Sinead O'Connor and Paul Rubens.
I didn't
Sinead
heard about
O'Connor.
Paul Rubin.
Yeah, Paul Rubens
Sinead
died
O'Connor one
today.
hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
She's big influence on, for my life and everything like that. That one's tough and, too young. So,
Mhm.
so that's all I have.
All right, Brooks, bring us back up, man. Any final thoughts?
Sorry.
Thank you for being here.
So I says to my girl, I sure would like a little pussy. She says,
There's a
me
pivot.
too. Mine's as big as a house.
Shane Black's biggest contributions to this movie, probably.
Two pussy
Cinema
jokes.
Two pussy
history.
jokes. Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure Arnold came up with the stick around bit.
Oh yeah. I
What if I stick him with something and I say stick around? Joe, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure
Yeah.
when you're here.
you.
Any final thoughts? And you got stuff coming up you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I'll also add on the Sinead O'Connor bit. Lion and the Cobra, her first album is
Yep.
incredible.
It's
and
perfect.
Anyone, it's one of my favorite albums. People, if people haven't listened to it, check it out. It's great.
I give that one a 5.
Yeah, I would give that one a 5 too. Also, her last album was pretty good. But from like 2014, I'm Not Bossy, I'm the Boss. It's a solid album. But anyway, I'm editing Sheena, which I believe Sheena Fatal Exams final order cutoff's probably coming up in the next like couple weeks or so. I think it's like mid-August, so people should check that out.
Another great one
It's-
from Dynamite
yeah.
Comics.
Absolutely. Dynamite is where I get comics, and I also do work for them, but I also enjoy them.
Chill.
Shut up. No, Dynamite does that good stuff. And yeah, I'm excited for that one, Joe.
Yeah, dude.
All the Elvira stuff that David Avalone does, I feel like David Avalone, if I'm pronouncing his name right, and if I'm not, I apologize, is like way too under the radar and has been doing all of these Elvira comics and seems like just a decent guy, and like no one talks about him as like a comics writer enough, and I hate that. I hope more people check him out as well as all the other fine Dynamite products. But
no, Elvira is one of my favorite comics, dude. I'm so excited. Like Elvira in Monsterland is killing.
Oh yeah,
killing.
No, it's genuinely very good. But also, the Dahlia in the Dark trade is either out or about to be out.
About to be out.
Yes, about to be out. So people should keep an eye out for that, because you've probably all gotten all the issues, but it's just easier to have the trade. Why not buy both? You can still get She Said Destroy. You can still get Beckstar. You can get what was it? The Never Ending Party. Well, I was gonna say Lost on Planet Earth, which I edited, which is also available. But the Never Ending Party, that should be out soon as well. I already have my comp copies. I think I already had them when we did Missing in Action. But yeah, so that's coming out. I have
that book is way better than Missing in Action, by the way.
thank you. And I have another graphic novel that's being announced soon. It'll probably be. It should be announced by the next time I'm here talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, hold on a second, Joe. Fuck the publisher. Announce it here. Come on, man. Let us scoop Bleeding Cool. Come on.
Yeah, no. But no, it's going to be fun. I think that'll be a good time. So
nice. Great work from Joe. Check it out. Check out Go Figure Reviews. Check out Brian here on all the shows. Check out PCP Movie Night. Check out Dylan's Horror Show. Check out One Collection Down over on Instagram, because I just was there as a guest with Chris from Lost in Comics for Blame Fable and His Amazing Friends. We did that show on IG yesterday. A great show. We basically bitched about Marvel the entire time. He was like, we're going to cover all the SDCC news. And it turned into 3 topics and me bitching about Marvel and coercing everybody else into bitching about Marvel as well. It was great. So it was super fun. So check that out. Check out all the friends of the show. Check out the feature channels. Check out all of these channels. We really do appreciate you being here. Next week, we end PCP Action Fest with the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. But 2 weeks later, we start Horror Fest, and it's going to be a great lineup. But be sure to check out Dylan's Horror Show as they continue Hatchet Fest this Saturday when they talk about Hatchet 2 and 3. We're dipping out. We got lots of great content coming up here at PCP. So all you need to do to enjoy all of that is like, subscribe, and stick around.